Welcome back to Obsession Engineering at TT 2024. It is day 2 of the festival, and this morning we were basically underwater. It was that wet they may as well have turned the island upside down in the Irish Sea. But then the sun has burst out, and behind me it is beautiful weather. Unfortunately, if I turn the other way round, it's not quite so beautiful weather. It is quite grey and quite cloudy, but I'm told we're in the worst bit of the weather here. So, I think it's fair to say there will be some damp patches tonight. If the riders don't slow down in time, there will be damp patches in their underpants as well. But hopefully everybody will be sensible and, ride around without doing no daft. At least they are actually getting to ride around, because today was looking particularly iffy on the schedule. But anyway, on to tonight's plan. There is a big bike session first, and so our rider Julian Trummer will be going out on the Jackson Racing Fireblade, getting 2 or 3 laps on that, and then he will be out on the mighty Obsession Engineering RS660. He didn't ride it yesterday because he was out on the 600 as well, and they're in the shared session, but he is planning to do 2 laps on it tonight. There may be a short delay to the start of tonight's session, not only for the damp patches, but apparently somebody's left a car at Balaf and they're going to have to go and tow it, so that might take a few minutes. So thumbs up to whoever abandoned their car to probably go and get a spectating point. Top job, sir. And while we're waiting for the traffic to be moved out of Balaf, let's have a little bit of a run down the line. So that's my bike for Julian Trummer. Mark Parrott is on Eric 660. He did a couple of laps on that yesterday, a bit of a tweak to gearing and a couple of details. Then Mark's BM, Andy's 600, and then people have just dumped their trolleys there for a minute. He's an interloper, don't talk to him. Anthony Redmond's BM. Now Anthony did 122.7 mile an hour yesterday, absolutely on it for first night, so he is flying. Right, over this way. Barry Ferbers, he's bought himself onto this year. It's a bit of a development process for that, because it's new to him, but he's getting on all right. His twin, that is actually an R7 under there, and that's really quite trick. And he was 114 mile an hour lap last night on that. 115 I'm being told, but he was 4th fastest, third fastest overall on that last night, absolutely flying. He's got 600 as well. Then going down the load, that's Indy's RS660. Martin is here, only 2 bikes tonight because the 600 is broken, so twin, and they've done some suspension cell work yesterday, during the day on the BM, on this Honda, to make it a bit nicer to ride over the bumps. John O'Perry, lovely proper HRC CBR 600, that thing's lovely. ZX10, I'm guessing with the standard shock link tonight. Yeah, it's got a standard shock link because the aftermarket one snapped down Bray Hill last night, which I think was a bit exciting. Right, then we've got Joey Thompson, R6, R1. Not many people running R1s, but Joey actually quite likes it. Forrest Dunn, whose painter had a sneeze while he was mixing up some colours, but he stands out. Hiya! That's not Jurgen Klopp. Right, then we've got Mike Norbury's big Suzuki, the French contingent. I am terrible to remember who was riding these, but there are plenty of bikes, so that is a good gaggle. Right, so we've got Jim Hind on a big Suzuki and a GSXR 750. Jim was 4th fastest yesterday, 124 mile an hour lap on the opening lap on the 750. He's going to be quick in Supersport. Stefano Bonetti, he has got himself a Fireblade as well. Is that your pattern? Yeah, and a pattern. These things are lovely. So ER6 engine, but in a proper Italian racing frame and everything. They are jewels of bikes, and Stefano's been on the podium with them before, so good luck to him. Maria Costello's Super Twin, Mikey Evans 765 Triumph, so that's next generation Supersport like the GSXR 750. They're basically standard engines, and they have a different ECU and bits on them to restrict them a little bit to make them basically the same speed as a fast 600. So another Triumph, another Honda, another pattern, Indy's ZX10. Right, Amance Blanche on Fireblade as well, so French lad, he's chipping away year by year. Right, this one's a bit more interesting. So, Fleetwood Motorcycles, Steve Linsdell and Ollie Linsdell, they like to do something a little bit left field. So this is an R7 Super Twin, but they do a lot of their own development work, and being incredibly good at building fast classic bikes, look at the exhaust system on that. That is a very big exhaust system. That I will promise you, will be quick, and it's got Adam McLean on it who can pedal a bike around. All right, Dave Madston Migdal, the most starts of anybody ever around the Isle of Man, and I'm not sure how old David is, but I'm sure he's in 3 figures, but he is still quick. Timmy Monet, another one of our favourite Frenchmen. Okay. Tim's a good lad. Right, ZX10 this year. Andy OnlyFans R6. Andy's twin as well. There's more and more Aprilias. Right, Tom Whedon on my BM and his own 600 and twin. Mike Russell, so Jack Russell, he's got an RS660 and a BM and a 600 that isn't up here tonight. He is starting and hoping to finish all 10 races at TT this year, so every solo race and sidecars, because he's clearly a lunatic. Right, Pete Murray's riding that one. That is one of Robbie Sylvester's old ER6s. Should be a good thing, it'll be quick. Right, Chris Moore, Rabbit, and on like an ex-Daffer Bet RC Express Super Twin, that is a quick bike. Right, and then I'll be honest, there's a few bikes I'm not actually sure who's on. I think they're Kevin Keyes' bikes. He's a newcomer this year. Decent first night on it. Marta Goodings, ZX10 R6. Yeah, and we're nearly at the line. Pochi on an R1, and then local Manxman George Halliday, first time on a big bike here, quick on a 600 last year. And then there are a load of big names in the tents, but lots of people talk about the big names, so we like to shout out the little guys. Practice should have started at 6:20. The Manx weather is not quite playing ball. So they finally cleared the 2 cars that had been left in the wrong places, and that was half an hour ago, but there's been a couple of little showers blow through, so the clerk of course has to then send the travelling marshals around, because they assess it more than the marshals are stationary, because they're sort of seeing the track in real time, I suppose, from sat on a motorbike. So the TMs, basically there's I think 8 or 10 TMs, and they basically have a static point, and when they need to, they move round to the next point, and each one of them moves round, and they can assess the whole section, and then they radio through to race control and a decision is made. So yeah, we are waiting at the moment, but as race control pointing out, they are doing this as much as they can for the rider's safety, but are fully aware that people don't want to be stood around all night, so it's a job I wouldn't want.
You know what it's like, can't do anything against it, so we'll see.
Yeah, but you're ready to go?
Yeah, let's hope so, yeah. But
fingers crossed.
We'll see.
Well, we were just saying earlier, cars parked, sending recovery vehicles out. It's like hold up, waiting for the rain to come. And this is what it's doing. But I mean, all credit to Gary, we didn't expect it to run today. And he does make a decision, he doesn't dither. But obviously, he wants to get everyone out, everyone wants to get out. But also from a rider's point of view, sometimes so long stood around, you know, like Andrew just said, you know, the get up and go, it's get up and gone. So, you know, I don't know, I don't know what to make of it.
And annoyingly, to everybody involved, Mark Parrott was right. They basically had enough delays that by the time all the stuff was moved out of the way, there's been a load of showers. So there's one up the mountain, one down Cronky Voddy. They're in completely different places. They're just blowing through, and they keep wetting the track, and apparently the forecast is for them to keep blowing through, and then, of course, by the time those sections get dry, it's too late, and it's just so they've called off tonight's session. So one of them. That is unfortunately what happens at TT sometimes.
No point getting yourself worked up, is there?
How many laps did you do yesterday? 8. 2 in. So, no, I'm frustrated, yeah. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Can't change the weather.
Could always go to the pub, you know. But we'll see you tomorrow, with or without a hangover. Welcome along to Wednesday night. The sun is shining, and it has been pretty much all day. There was a little bit of mist on the hills and stuff earlier, but that's all burnt off. The only game now is it is quite windy, so hopefully nobody will get blown off, or at least not when they're riding the motorbike anyway. Right, this is basically what the session that should have been Tuesday night, so it's big bikes first at 6:20, followed by little bikes just after 7 o'clock, and then sidecars at the end. So yes, the little bike is ready. Julian will be out on the big bike first, then hopefully we can spin some laps on the Aprilia, see how fast she can go. So Dean Harrison's had the 10-second warning. He is first man down the road today on number 3 Honda. Production team are all in place, cameras are at the ready. He's waiting for the tap on the shoulder. little bit further down the order is Tom Whedon on the Obsession Engineering BMW. Doesn't that look nice? Sounds good. First lap down, and Marcus coming at the end of the first lap for a very Isle of Man fix. So the temperature has dropped right off, and especially up the top of the mountain, it's going to be pretty cold. And so he's coming because his visor's steaming up. So we've gone cable tie round the chin bar, so your visor doesn't quite close, just lets enough air in to stop your visor steaming up. So that's it. Engineered that.
Old school fix, old school rider.
So the boys who've been in the pits and are going back out for another lap, obviously if there's riders coming through, they don't release them. So they know how long it takes to get down pit lane. And so they're basically holding them until there's some clear track, and then they'll release them down pit lane so they're, you know, not going onto a track when there's somebody going to go up their chuff. So I've taken the sunglasses off because it is very definitely no longer sunglasses weather on the Isle of Man. We've had some quite big dark clouds over there, but they don't appear to be depositing anything. It is also apparently very windy up the mountain, but it hasn't stopped David Todd going fastest so far on the big bikes with a 131.8 mile an hour lap from a standing start. His second lap was 131.7, so it's fair to say David Todd is on it. Mickey D's over 130 as well. They are the only two so far. So the plan is for Julian to do his 2 laps on the big bike and then jump on his 600, but the twin is ready. It's had a couple of very thorough heat soaks, and we've just got to do literally a final tyre pressure check, but that is ready to go as soon as he needs it. So if he does come in and decide he wants to ride that instead of the 600, he can do, or if he does a lap on the 600 there's an issue or anything happens, the bike is ready to go. Mark Parrott has got the 600 and the twin ready, but I think he's going to jump on the 600 first. So it is all busy. Admittedly, it's busy waiting at the moment though. Tom, 118 and a half, but not all perfect.
No, that second lap should have been a lot better. The first lap, I don't know, I think I went out a little bit tense, to be fair. And yeah, Finch just told me that I was riding like a little girl, so apparently my first lap was like absolutely useless, like what was the point of going out? And then the second lap, as the fuel load went down, she started to feel like nice. I started to relax a bit more on the bike, I was moving around it a little bit better and enjoying it. And just, yeah, as the fuel load went down, I just felt I could flick around a little bit more and ride a bit more short track style. I know you was picking up on my throttle trace yesterday, so I was trying to concentrate on 100% throttle openings and as much as I could. Come up to Brandywell, which is the corner where I done my neck and back, where I've always been like crap after that, and then yeah, just gassed it, and it went. I was like, no, please don't die on me, and yeah, I didn't know if it was fuel or not, but I thought that was way too early to be fuel, so I won't say I cruised her home, but I rode her as fast as I could home, expecting a little splutter, you know. So I think we still managed to 118, but
Yeah, 118.5.
should have been a lot quicker than that, really. But we'll get there. Look at that.
The organisers may have lumbered us with awkward and large GPS tracking systems, but Mark's team have come up with an ingenious new system. Why does that have a picture of a dog on it?
Because it's the dog's tracker.
So you now have the fastest dog on the island.
I do. It's £50 and that's all it costs. It's absolutely brilliant. 160 is a maximum speed and it's averaged 123.
That is one fast pooch.
Come on, Marky. Come on.
So Julian is well into his second lap. He's through the bungalow, so that'll ping up as Cronkney-Mona fairly shortly, and then at Cronkney-Mona he's basically got a minute to get to the grandstand, and then basically a minute to get from the grandstand down the return road back to us, and then he'll be jumping on the twin. So last little warm-up. Right, so Julian has crossed the finish line. I'm just going to wait for him to actually roll into the paddock, because by the time he's got off the other bike, it will give me time to just get the warmers off and get him out there. He's going to have about 2 minutes of the session left to get out, but basically as long as you're out the gate, then you're absolutely fine to go and do your lap.
On the bike or not?
Blipper? Yeah. Yeah, all mod cons, sir.
Sorry?
All mod cons. She's warm, she's good to go. Damper all right? A bit too much. Cool. Julian's gone out, and he's gone out right with Paul Jordan then, hasn't he? Teammates again.
Teammates together, so see which bike's good.
Yes. I fully admit I've been pretty chilled so far during TT, and almost a little bit down because I've not really got going because I'm not riding, and then literally that sort of 3 minutes of him coming in, getting on the bike, send him out, and all of a sudden there's the run of nerves almost. I wasn't as bad, I suppose, with Tom because he's done a lot of the bike prep himself. I know the bike's right. It's been through scrutineering 3 times. We are good, but still, he's heading out on my little baby. The paddock is clearing out as most bikes are getting pushed back into the paddock, but there are a few bikes still out there, and most of them are Super Twins because most of the really quick boys have done 2 laps or 600, then jump on the twin for the last little dash like we have done. At Ramsey, we are at 123.3 mile an hour average to Ramsey. The quick boys on the twins are like about 128ish, so we're about 5 mile an hour off the likes of Mickey D and Paul Jordan and people, which I'm saying for the first time sat on that bike round here is probably going okay. But yes, I am still a little nervous because he hasn't come back yet, and I, want him to come back safe. But yeah, so far it looks like it's going okay. Here comes my little bike.
That was funny.
Good? All right?
Good.
Yeah?
Funny. It was good fun.
Cool.
It's a tad bit too long.
Bit lazy.
Yeah, it's, 6 gear is a bit slow.
Right, okay, yeah.
A
we thought
couple of things with the suspension. It's a bit slow turning as well.
Right, okay.
Compared to my 600.
Yeah,
couple of things, but we can talk about it later.
Yeah, but
that was good fun.
Generally all right?
Enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
I would have loved to go on a
second one,
now.
yeah. No, that's cool. Nah, good first lap. So the sun is going down on another day at the Isle of Man. There was a red flag in the sidecar session, so hopefully everybody's okay with whatever's happened out there. We had a look at the misfire, and it was more of a stutter, and I think it was a little bit low on fuel, the BMW, because when they come back it's just over a litre of fuel left in it, and they tend to start surging at 2 and a bit litres in them. And I think what's happened is the lads have fueled it, took it up yesterday, and by the time it's had loads of heat cycles yesterday and then heat cycles again today, they're probably just a little bit low on fuel. And if necessary, we're going to build a map with a little bit less fuel in the mid-range and stuff, and hopefully that will help if necessary. Julian has been down as well. We've had a bit of a chat through, so we've made a decision. Basically, we're going to run the bike a little bit stiffer in the rear, so that on throttle it turns a little bit better. And we're going to try some different gearing because we were a bit down on the speed trap because it just wanted to go into top gear. It didn't really want to pull, but I had geared it on the lazy side for that session. And the only thing left to do tonight is go and find some food. So we'll be back tomorrow for some more practice action. Last night, Dino stopped at Parliament Square with a small technical issue. Shouted to the crowd, anybody got a bike I can borrow? And Keith was the willing victim. But he didn't just borrow your bike, he actually gave you a lift.
Initially he wanted me to give him a lift back, but then it kind of, as soon as we got to the bike, it just seemed the right thing to do, to give him the keys really. So yeah, off we went and rode round the coast road back to the paddock via Laxey, and obviously stuck to all the speed limits, and yeah, it was quite an entertaining thing.
Dean a good rider?
He was all right. Yeah, I think I could probably give him a few pointers, to be honest. But no, it was good. Yeah, it was good.
Cool. So what you're saying is, if anybody breaks down, if any riders break down, always volunteer to go on the back.
Absolutely. Yeah, do it. What you got to lose? What's the worst that could happen?
Welcome along to Thursday at TT. It is mid-afternoon, and so far today it's been terribly exciting. If you enjoy standing in a queue waiting for a dyno. So after yesterday, I checked the speed traps for the Super Twins, and Julian had clocked 141 mile an hour through the speed trap at Sulby on my bike, and that's not fast enough. He did say he basically puts it in top gear, it gets to like 9,000 RPM on the gear change and just stays there. And it should pull. And I'm thinking, I ran that gearing last year and it pulled it. But I was a little bit concerned because that's a fresh engine and they generally get faster when they bed in a little bit and it's not done much mileage yet. So I decided we'd put it on the dyno and actually check that it's getting better and not getting worse. And so spent, 3 and a bit hours waiting for the dyno because it's a busy place to be. And here's a short video from the dyno. So back from the dyno, and the two things we've learnt are that engine is picking up horsepower, it is still loosening in nicely, and so I'm happy that that engine is good to go. The other thing I learnt is, even though I'd changed the gearing from a 43 rear to a 44, it was still capable of doing 156 miles an hour. But I don't think the bike actually will do 156 miles an hour quite, and so it then basically just doesn't pull it, and so you lose speed everywhere. So then I've started doing a bit of maths, and I worked out the only thing that could be really changing why it won't pull the gearing is the tyre. Because Julian runs Metzeler's and I run Dunlops. So I've been measuring tyres, and the difference in tyre diameter, the difference in tyre circumference between a 180/60 Metzeler and a 180/60 Dunlop that I rode is 2.5%, 2.69%. Which is quite significant when you're calculating these things out. So then I've calculated the gearing change, and to get that equivalent gearing change back we need just over a tooth of gearing. And so I'm going from a 43 we ran yesterday, I've tried the 44 which potentially could do 156 miles an hour, and now if I go to the 45 we are now capable of 152 miles an hour, which is a bit more likely to where the bike will actually want to pull. To do that I do have to change the chain because we're now really, really short in the swinging arm, so I do need to put a longer chain on it, but that's not a problem. But it just means that my 2-minute gearing change has so far cost me about 4 hours. Luckily the Twin isn't going out tonight because it's a big bike only session, so there's no terrible rush. But the good news is we do actually know that the engine's fit and healthy, we do actually know potentially what speed they can pull, and I've been doing the math, so I know the difference between a Metzeler and Metzeler and Dunlop. So as I said, terribly exciting so far. Other than the gearing and mess around, the other prep bits we've been doing are cleaned and lubed the chain, cleaned the wheels, basically go around everything and check that the cross-check stuff, like this torque check stuff, hasn't broken, because if you see cracks in it, everything's beginning to move. So it's a really easy and quick way to actually check your bike is not rattling itself apart, basically. Obviously chain tension checked, around the swinging arm and everything checked and cleaned, water level checked, oil level checked, those bits re-lock wired, brakes checked to make sure they're not particularly dirty. I don't clean the brakes every day at TT, because you don't actually use the brakes that much, especially not on a Twin. So they've just had a quick check round, clean the wheels, and basically give it a really, really thorough bolt check. So go around the whole thing, everywhere you can, fiddle with stuff, touch stuff, rattle stuff, make sure nothing's coming loose, make sure nothing's cracked, and just basically give the bike a really, really good once over. And then almost forgot to say, the most important thing about TT prep, wipe the flies off it. Because some days, that is a full-time job. So having got the Super Twins finished, me and Eric were just beginning to help people get bikes ready for the big bike session tonight. Unfortunately it has been cancelled due to an RTC up on the mountain. So hopefully everybody involved in that is okay, but it's obviously taking up medical services and stuff at the moment, and so unfortunately they've had to cancel tonight's session. There will be a rejig to the schedule for Friday, so we can run practice on Friday afternoon and Friday evening, and potentially they might tweak the schedule for Saturday as well, maybe to get some extra in. But for tonight, there is a no-go. And so that's it. We'll cover a bit more of the Friday and Saturday stuff in the next video, but so far, thanks for watching, and join us again next time for some more TT fun.